Well, good morning, my friends. It is finally time to complete that. The wallpaper is getting finished, or actually started and hopefully finished today. But first we got to get our furniture moved. For that, we're going to take care of the animals this morning. Maybe do a little quick gardening. We had a huge storm and it has knocked over a lot of our giant sunflowers. So we may need to stake that, but that might be for another time. For now, let's go take care of some of the animals, make sure they're all fed and watered, and then we will get that furniture moved and it's off to the races. Also, if there was any doubt, fall has finally arrived. This has been the oddest season. We had a few false starts, but I have to say, this is probably one of the latest starts we've had. And I have to say, I am just glad to see that I think it's here for good this time. All right, so you can see we've got everything moved. Let me give you a little better perspective of the wall we're working on. Here she is before. We got it all sanded down, that's why it looks that way. We have orange peel, so it's a pretty light texture, but it's better to not have any texture at all if you're wanting to wallpaper. So we went ahead and knocked that off. And again, if you're brand new, here's what we just finished as far as the wood paneling goes. Now let's go check out that wallpaper. What are you doing? So after waiting literally months for this to come in, I'd honestly forgotten and let it sit there for a day. And I was super excited when I realized what it was. I did go with grass cloth again, and grass cloth, I will admit, is way more expensive, but the texture is just unbeatable. All right, y'all. Here she is. So lovely. Well, good morning, friends. So for the longest time, I've been looking for deep burgundy colored linen pillowcases. I absolutely love colors that can translate from season to season. I really feel like burgundy is one of them. I think it fits into the autumn and fall category, and it very easily transitioned into Christmas time. With that being the case, I thought I could make myself some pillowcases. Nothing fancy, no special formula I'm going to do on them, just regular old hardworking king pillowcases that are both utilitarian and pretty. You could always find your way back home to your little shelter from the storm. One tip, and it may not be the most accurate way of doing it, and all you seamstresses out there are probably going to be yelling at your screens, but I like to bring whatever pillow size that I am making over to me, make my measurements based on that, and really just go from there. I hate measuring, so I just compare my piece to the size that I am trying to make and proceed from there. Slips and setbacks, and how I wish we could wind back the clock back to those days before you got on that stupid plane. But when the winter chill freezes to the bone, you
can always find your way back home to a little shelter from the storm. And if you're feeling rough like the weather, you can always wear your cold sweater. It's been waiting here all this time. But when the winter chill freezes to the bone, you can always...
So we are slowly but nonetheless surely getting ready to cross towards the finish line of finishing up our master bedroom. And at the moment, I'm kind of at the point of finishing up some of the final touches as far as the art pieces go.
all this time. It is time, it's the perfect summer night. And those three words are spelled out in your eyes. But before I go on, say something wrong. I just hope and bite my tongue. Cause you've been told too many times before. Yeah, you've been told so many times before.
Well, good morning. So it is quite an exciting morning around here for us. We have finally awoken to a completely finished master bedroom as far as the walls go, at least. Something that has not occurred in as far back as I can honestly remember. And now it is time for the exciting parts.
And blurs. That's the time.
So what do you think, y'all? Can you see the wallpaper? I am extremely excited about the way that it turned out. It wasn't the best decision, but I ended up picking out my paint color before I actually saw a sample of the actual wallpaper in person. But thankfully, I think it ended up working out quite well. I think the colors blend nicely. And now let's put on all those layers that really pull everything together and make everything feel cozy again. Speaking of the wallpaper, part of me was wanting to go a little bit bolder with the colors, but I knew that that would really create a constraint as far as what I was able to put on the bed. So I decided to kind of stick with a neutral palette, and that way that whenever I wanted to change out the bedding, I had a lot more options that I could choose from.
And I'll never say that I love you.
Okay, so now that we've got our foundational layers down, it is at this point that I am going to be injecting some of my colors. Not a whole lot, just a little bit to add some interest and kind of insert some of the seasonal colors that are currently going on right now. And one of the ways that I wanted to do that was via the pillows that I actually made a few days ago. One could potentially argue that I've got way too much gingham going on, but if you were to ask me, way too much gingham is a non-existent matter. I just feel like black or really dark colors just make the space feel not as if it were floating. Again, it just adds a grounding effect that I think all spaces ultimately need.
The wool that I have gathered all will come into my home. Will come into my home. If it's shade.
The black may have felt like it was coming out of the middle of nowhere, but when we start adding our furniture pieces and other elements like black frames, it really starts to tie everything together. Finding the perfect pieces of furniture to fit your specific space can be super difficult, and if you happen to be on a budget, or maybe you're having trouble finding either a side table or a nightstand, I absolutely love using stools. They're super affordable, they don't take up a lot of room, and they really add an unexpected element as you're using a piece that wasn't originally intended for what you're currently using it for. Just makes your space feel overall more creative. Okay, as we're almost finished with our bedding, I think I'm gonna change up and switch some things with the pillows and maybe the bedding. We shall see, but it is officially time to start hanging things on both the brand new wood paneling and the wallpaper. I have got to admit, I have been dreading this portion for quite some time, but Blake and I were actually talking about it, and one of the things that he suggested was putting the nail in between the groove when I'm hanging it on the wood paneling. That way, if ever I want to change it, it'll be super easy to fill and paint. And as far as hanging on the grass cloth, holes, as long as they're really small, are quite easy to hide, so I need to just take a deep breath and go for it. But before then, we need to pick out exactly what we're going to be hanging and where exactly that will be. What you doing, Ivy? What's she doing? You like? So without further ado, oh, it's crooked. Oh, oh. You got it? Would be so appreciated. Appreciated. Too much gingham. Gingham. And all you seamstresses out there. Oh, no. Oh.